Flygirl, Chapter 11. When I was 7, my father took me to Lake Pontchartrain to go swimming with my brother, Thomas, and his friends. The lake was a dangerous place to be, with an undertow that grabs on tight and pulled you down. More than a few children have drowned there, grown-ups too, but it's where colored people go to swim. The safer beaches are whites only. Of the 5 of us there, only Daddy really knew how to handle the water. He knew how to stay near the shore, away from the worst of the currents. Me, I had never been in anything deeper than a bathtub, and that not even full to the top. I stared at the dark blue water so long that it wasn't blue anymore, but black and cold. It must have been August for us to want to go swimming, but I wasn't having any of it. While the boys ran toward the water, I hung back, hugging myself with skinny, goose-pimpled arms. Thomas was the one to push me in, or one of his friends. Afterward, none of them would say who'd done it. Who had shoved me, screaming, to cut through the black skin of the lake like a knife? I didn't float. I didn't paddle. I simply sank, dragged down by the undercurrent. Daddy pulled me free with one hand and smacked my back until I coughed up half a cup of water, and that was it. I never wanted to swim again. Old Clayfoot sunk like a ton of bricks, Daddy said, but he hugged me close. Don't worry a little bit. You're all right. When you're ready, we'll go in again. This time without help from those rascals. He scowled at Thomas and his 2 buddies. All 3 looked about ready to cry. I pressed into my daddy's chest and shook my head. Was all I said. And that was that. Daddy didn't push me. Later he'd say I was the look on my face that told him not to. Said I looked like I'd seen the devil under the water, waving at me. Maybe I had. All I know is I didn't go back to Pontchartrain until high school. And from then on, I stayed on the shore. That was fine. All the girls did. It was more about swimsuits than swimming anyway. Not like today. Today we have a swim test. We're lined up 2 by 2 like Noah's Ark at the Sweetwater Municipal Pool. It's closed to looky-loos, thank goodness, and I'm at the back of the line. I made sure of that. My hair is braided tight against frizzing, and that's the least of my worries. 1 lap, ladies, 1 lap fully clothed in your flight suits, Doc Mosserand shouted across the pool to our flight. Something you should get used to in case of water landing. Right, water landing, Patsy says, 2 girls ahead of me. In case the plane decides to float. Don't jinx it, somebody else says. Patsy looks over her shoulder at me and winks. I don't wink back. I could barely take my eyes off the pool. It doesn't look too bad, Lily says. Why, the pool in my apartment building is twice this size. A real Olympic regulation swimming pool. Fancy, Patsy drawls, turns to me. What's the matter, honey? I grit my teeth. Nothing. I'm fine. Like heck, what is it? I stare at my feet. I can't believe I'm going to wash out before basic training has even really begun. I can feel Patsy look at me. I return the look with watery eyes. I can't swim. The girls near us start to cluck their tongues and shake their heads. Poor kid, that's a shame. Stop your gobbling, Patsy says to them. Look, Jonesy, you handle yourself pretty well in the sky. We'll figure something out. I could swim for her, Lily whispers. What? How? I stare at her, hating to hope there's a way. Sorry, sister, but you 2 don't look a thing alike, aside from height, that is. Not with my hair down, Lily says. But look at them in there. She points with her chin to the first of the swimmers. They struggle through the water in their overgrown man-suits, hair wrapping in Urban's ugly old turbans. If I didn't know better, I'd say they just want to drown us all. She's right, Patsy says. Bundled up in that mess, you couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman, let alone which woman. You do this for me? I take Lily by the arm. If she's caught, we'll both get thrown out. Lily's eyes waver, but only for a second. She sets her jaw and nods at me. For the woman that taught me how to make a bed, I'd do anything. We're at the front of the line now. I hang back and let the other woman pass me. Lily jumps in alongside Patsy. They sink a little and then float back up to the top of the pool. Their clothes are another matter. The zoot suits are like anchors. My heart flutters in my throat just watching them, and I know that I could never do what Lily's doing for me. There are a lot of things I could handle, but water isn't one of them. After what seems like a dog's age, Lily makes it to the other side of the pool. Doc Massarand is so busy with the other girls, I break free from the group and meet up with Lily and a towel. Patsy climbs out of the pool, grabs another towel, and holds it up as a curtain for both of us. The other girls are too busy with their zoot suits and turbans and pure exhaustion to even notice Lily and me changing suits. "Are you sure you can do this?" I whisper. Lily gasps. "Don't ask me again, Ida. I don't have the breath to say yes." She dresses me more quickly than I do, thanks to my dry suit, but a wet suit is a horse of a different color. I struggle halfway into it before Patsy stops me. "Hey, kiddo, look around," she says softly. Every girl that's finished the swim is half out of their suit and half into a towel. Patsy smiles. "As far as they know, you're done. Just wrap up in a towel now and watch Johnny Weissamer over there strut her stuff." I have to laugh at that. Buster Crabbe may be a matinee idol, but once upon a time, he was an Olympic swim champion. I pull the towel around me gratefully and turn to watch Lily catch up to the end of the line. When the doc blows the whistle, she jumps right in without looking at him. "She sure can swim," Patsy says. "She's a regular Tarzan," I say, referring to Johnny Weissmuller's most famous role. "Heck no," Patsy says. "Tarzan never had to wear a zoot suit. Only Lily is a Jane all the way." Lily climbs out of the pool for the second time. She looks tiny in the waterlogged suit, but elated. "I think we did it," she says, waving her hands excitedly. "Keep it down," Patsy tells her, and tosses a dry towel over her head. "Thank you, Lily. You saved my skin." Lily grins back happily. "If it weren't for all those dead weight, I would have almost had fun." After the swim test is complete, we're bussed back to the base, where Doc Massarand dismisses us. Not all the Flight 1 has passed. 2 girls, Anderson and Shaw, are told to report to Dee Dee Deaton's office after their shower. The girls head to the showers, chattering about the difficulty of swimming in clothes, or worse, what a wet turban feels like in a Texas heat. It's hot enough to make our clothes steam, but not to dry them. "Aren't you going to clean up?" Patsy asks me. "We're due at the mess hall in 15 minutes. I'm slumped against the wall outside the showers in Lily's wet suit. I feel ashamed. 2 of us have already washed out. I'm still here only because I cheated. I've already lied about my license and my race. What else will I do before this training is done?" "I'm fine," I finally say. "But I guess I should report to Mrs. Deaton as a washout." Patsy stops toweling her hair and gives me a look. "Now, Jonesy, don't let this eat at you. You think those kids overseas get along all by their lonesome in this war? Of course not. We're a team. We shoulder each other. Anderson and Shaw should have been half as clever as you to figure that out." I give her a weak smile, but I still feel wrong. "Ida May, hurry up," Lily calls out from the dormitory. She's already back in the khakis, lacing up her shoes. "I'll save you a seat at the mess." "Thanks, Lily," Patsy says for the both of us. After Lily leaves, Patsy takes me by the wrist. "Listen, Jones, Lily went out on a limb for you. The least you could do is be grateful. Happy, even." I don't meet her eyes. The thing is, I'm more grateful than I can say. Patsy smiles and lets go of my wrist. "Then don't say anything and repay the favor when you can." At last I smile. Lily and Patsy aren't just my classmates. They are real friends. Maybe it's not the same as it with me and Jolene. They don't know everything about Ida Mae Jones. But they know Jonesy, and that's who I really am. For the first time since leaving home, I've got friends. And that tells me I belong. Dinner is a somber affair as everyone says goodbye to Anderson and Shaw. We've been together only a short while, but seeing 2 of our own wash out brings everyone down. I hang back feeling guilty that I'm not leaving too, but more desperate than ever to stay. After the 2 girls say their goodbyes, the mood changes and the pressure of training takes over. We linger after dinner comparing class notes, especially in navigation. Reading maps is second nature for but not all of the WASP. I chatter along with the rest of the girls and we stay up until lights out, studying flight maps and practicing plotting courses. But afterward, when lights go off, I lie awake and think of Lake Pontchartrain and how any fear, can be my enemy. "Shoo, fly, don't bother me," Shoo fly, don't bother me, I tell myself. I'll get over my fear one day. I have to. Anything else and I'll be less than a wasp. Lily, I'm across the room and standing by her bed before I can stop myself. Lily, are you awake? Lily moans. Her head is completely under the covers. Yes, Mother, I'll be right there, she says sleepily. Lily! Her head pops up out of the blankets, red hair wrapped in a sleeping turban for the high society version of Urban's finest. Ida, what is it? Is everything okay? Her brown eyes are wide. Sorry to wake you. It's just... I sit on the edge of her bed and reach out the right words. Well, it's like making a bed. I mean, I'm really grateful and all. It's a huge, gorgeous thing you did for me. But I want to be able to do it myself. What do you mean? Lily asks. She's wide awake now, sitting up in her bed. Our whispers add a sense of urgency that shakes away all fogginess. I mean, I want to learn to swim. We come to Avenger Field all big and brave, like we can do anything, and I know that's impossible. We're not superheroes or anything, but I'd like to at least try, to say I gave it a try. Will you teach me? Lily smiles at me, a kind of happy smile. She puts her hand on mine. I'd love to, although we'd best be careful since everyone thinks you could swim already. Her eyes grow distant, and then she looks at me again. They sparkle. Oh, this will be fun. It'll be our little secret. She grabs the covers in a gleefully conspiratorial way. Mine too, if you don't keep it down, Patsy grumbles from her bed. Patsy sleeps with a satin mask covering her eyes. She has earplugs too from her days working air shows, but she says she doesn't like to sleep with them in case she might miss revelry. Sorry, Lily and I whisper simultaneously and then grin. Tell you what, I'll sleep on it, Lily says, and I'll let you know what I come up with in the morning. I glance at the clock in the dark, but it's too dark to read. I know it must be late. Of course, go back to sleep. I'm sorry to wake you, and thanks, Lily, I owe you one. That's two, Jonesy, she smiles and is asleep again, almost before she can get the blanket over her head. Poor kid, all that swimming really took its toll. Somehow I'll find a way to repay her for the test and for the lessons, too. It only takes me a moment longer to crawl back into bed and fall asleep. This time I sleep without tossing. I sleep without dreams.